Good morning, friends. Today we shall see the new topic that is extension teaching methods. These are nothing but teaching methods used for educating the farmers. So, extension teaching. Let us see the meaning of extension teaching methods. Before that, we shall see the what do you mean by teaching, learning, and extension teaching methods. Extension is an educational process by bringing about maximum number of desirable changes among the farmers. It is an educational process for bringing about or production about maximum number of desirable changes among the farmers. Maximum number of desirable changes means change in knowledge, skills, attitude, etc., which involves both learning and teaching and need some of the tools or methods commonly known as extension teaching methods. Extension educational process for bringing the production of for bringing production of or for bringing desirable changes in the behavioral complex of the human being, which involves the teaching learning process. And for teaching learning process we need some of the teaching methods. So it is therefore necessary to understand what do you mean by, what is meant by learning, what is meant by teaching, what is meant by extension teaching methods. So let's see learning. What is learning? You are all learners. So what is learning? Learning is the process of acquiring new knowledge, skills, values, or preferences. Learning is the process of acquiring new knowledge, new skills, new values, or new preferences. It is also called as learning is a process of modifying existing knowledge, skills, values, or preferences of the learners. Existing change in bringing changes in the existing knowledge. Learning is a process of modifying or bringing changes in the knowledge, skills, values, or preferences of the learners. So, learning is the process by which individual through his own activity. Learning is a process, it is a continuous process. Learning is a process by which individual through his own activity attains change in the behavior. In learning is a process. Here, learner should be active. If the learner is not ready to listen, you cannot bring any changes. So, learning is the process by which an individual through his own activity, an individual means a learner, through his own activity or through his own efforts attains changes in his behavior. So this definition was given by Paul Legans. So learning is an active process. Learning is an active process on the part of the learner. So here, learner should be active. Then only the learning takes place. If the learner is not ready to learn, if the learner is not ready to listen, hmm, the learning will not take place. Learning is an active process. Learning is an active process on the part of the learner. Learner should be active. He should actively participate in teaching learning process. The essential role of extension worker is to create effective learning situation. The essential role of the extension worker should create for effective learning. The worker should create effective learning situation. An effective learning situation. Then what do you mean by effective learning situation? An effective learning situation is one in which all the essential elements for promoting learning to the particular situation are present in a dynamic relationship with one another. Learning, an effective learning situation is one in which all the elements necessary for promoting the learning must be present. And they should not only present, they should present in a dynamic relationship with one another. These are the elements of learning. Hmm. Learners is one element. Teacher is one element, subject matter is another element, teaching methods are the another element, and physical facilities are the another element. These are the elements, five elements necessary for effective learn for creating effective learning situation. So here you can see these are the elements of learning situation. This is learning situation. Elements of learning situation. Teacher, subject matter, teaching material, physical facilities. Then learner. These are the five elements of effective learning situation. Here, learner occupies the central position. And next is teacher. Says teacher teaches the learner with suitable or useful subject matter using appropriate teaching materials by creating adequate physical facilities. Teacher is here in case of extension worker, teacher is the extension worker. Then subject matter to be taught, information to be given to the students or learner, teachers, teaching material, some teaching aids. It may be blackboard, or it may be PowerPoint, or it may be photographs, or it may be chart. Then physical facilities. There should be adequate physical facilities, adequate sitting arrangement, adequate lighting arrangement, adequate ventilation facilities. There should not be any disturbance from the outside. Then learners are nothing but, in case of extension, the farmers or dairy farmers, soybean growers, sugarcane growers are nothing but learners. So learner occupies central position in the learning situation. Then for effective teaching, the other elements such as teachers, subject matter, hmm, suitable subject matter, which is useful for the learner, the teaching aids, hmm, to suit to the learners. If the learners are illiterate, you cannot use literature or you cannot use blackboard. So physical facilities, as I told you, adequate sitting arrangement. So all these must be present in a dynamic relationship. They must, all the elements are interrelated with each other. They should present in a dynamic relationship. That is, teacher should interact with the students, teacher should interact with the learners, learners interact with the teacher. Then subject matter should, suitable subject matter should be given to the learners. So in turn, it should be given in a understandable manner. Then only they ask the questions on the subject. Teaching materials, appropriate teaching materials suited to the learners. Then adequate physical facilities, so that the learner should feel comfortable while listening to the teacher. So this is how the elements of learning situation, elements of learning should be um, effectively present in the learning situation. So this is another diagrammatic presentation of elements of learning. Then let us see these elements. What are these elements one by one? Effective learning situations requires following essential elements according to Paul Legans. Learners are nothing but, in case of extension work, the farmers, the farmwomen, the youth. These are the learners. The person who want to learn, I need to learn, are called as learners. The person who want to learn or need to learn are the learners. In the effective learning situation, learners occupy the central position. As I told in the effective learning situation, learners occupy the central position. This is effective learning situation. All the elements are there. So in this effective learning situation, learner occupy the central position. In the effective learning situation, learners occupy the central position and all the efforts are directed towards him. That is, the teacher should direct it toward him, subject matter is directed towards him, teaching methods are directed towards him, and physical facilities are directed towards him. Then second element is teacher or instructors. They are nothing but extension worker. In case of extension, teachers are nothing but extension worker who teaches and motivates the learner. Extension worker uh, teaches and motivate the learners. They not only what to teach, but also how to teach. So whenever the extension worker teaching the farmers or educating the farmers, the extension worker should know what to teach the farmers and how he should teach the farmers. That is more important. Then only he can effectively teach the students. Then subject matter. Subject matter is the content or a topic or information of teaching that is useful to the farm. Information to be taught to the farmers. Information which is useful, it should be useful to the farmers. For example, recommended practices. If you are teaching the soybean growers, the recommended cultivation practices of soybean is the subject matter. It should be useful to the farmers. You should, if you are teaching soybean growers, you should teach the information on recommended cultivation practices, not information on other aspects. Then only it is useful. Then physical facilities, adequate. There must be adequate physical facilities. It means appropriate physical environment in which teaching takes place. There should be a adequate sitting arrangement, adequate lighting arrangement, adequate ventilation. Then only you can create a effective physical environment. So in which effective learning takes place. Physical facilities, it means appropriate physical environment in which teaching learning takes place, such as good light, good ventilation, good sitting arrangement, etc. Teaching methods. Fifth element is teaching methods. That means use appropriate teaching method. It may be blackboard, or it may be a film, or it may be a audio, or it may be a PowerPoint. Use appropriate teaching aid or teaching method to teach the learners, looking to their understanding level. These are the appropriate. These are the appropriate these are the appropriate instructional materials, teaching materials, or equipments, or aids. Teaching instructional material. It may be a printed matter. For example, I am giving you every class the notes, printed notes or handouts, that is called as instructional material. We have to use appropriate equipments. Sometimes we need some of the equipments, for example, PowerPoint, for example, Blackboard. These are the equipments and aids. Hmm. So these are the examples of teaching methods you can use. Sometimes you can use radio to teach the farmers. Sometimes the farmers are situated in far-flung areas, hmm, scattered in wider areas. So under such situation, you can use radio. You cannot teach individual under such situation. You can use radio, you can use TV, or you can use newspaper to teach the farmers. So meeting, sometimes you need to use meeting. If you are addressing a small group of farmers, you can use meeting or training, or you can use blackboard, or you can use photographs. So these are the examples of you have to use effective teaching methods. These are the appropriate instructional materials, equipments, and aids. So this is about learning situation, elements of learning situation. The teacher should skillfully manipulate the elements of learning situation. The teacher should be skillful in manipulating the elements. How to manipulating the subject matter, appropriately using the teaching aids, adequate arrangement, sitting arrangement, physical facilities. So the teacher should skillfully manipulate elements of learning situation and provide satisfactory experience for the learners. The main objective of the teacher is to bring about desirable changes in the behavior of the farmers. The main aim of the teaching is to bring the desirable changes. So similarly, the main aim of the teacher is to bring about desirable changes in the behavioral complex of the learners or farmers with the help of judicious combination and use of different elements. So this is about learning. Next, we shall see about teaching. Teaching, learning, teaching, or teaching, learning process. Teaching is the process of arranging the situation, or teaching is the process of creating the situation in which things to be taught or brought to the notice of the learner. Teaching is the process of arranging the situations or creating the situation in which the things to be taught, the subject matter to be taught, to be learned, or taught or brought to the notice of the learners. Their interest is developed, and desires are aroused. Their interests are developed and desires are aroused. So that is, they are stimulated to act. So in simple, teaching is the process of creating the situation in which communication takes place between source and receiver. Therefore, extension teaching is planned and deliberate act on the part of the extension work. It is not just teaching the people, it is a planned and deliberate act. Planned and purposeful act. Deliberately, you are providing the information. So, extension teaching should be planned and deliberate act on the part of the. You should plan the teaching well in advance. The extension worker the extension worker has to move step by step in scientific and logical way to impart training to the farmers. The extension worker should teach the subject matter in step by step and logical manner to impart training to the farmers or to give the information to the farmers. The role of extension worker is that of facilitator and motivator. Here, the role of extension worker is that of facilitator, is creating the facilities for transfer of information and motivating the learners to understand the message. Though the details of the procedure may be vary from situation to situation. The procedure to follow to give the information, though the details of the procedure may vary from situation to situation, there may be some steps which are basic in the extension teaching. So, though the details of the procedure may vary from situation to situation, in case of illiterates, the situation is different. In case of literate, the situation is different. In case of highly educated people, the situation is different. In case of educating the students in the classroom, the situation is different here. We can use PowerPoint, we can use Blackboard here, we can use photographs here, you can use n number of aids here. Whenever you are teaching the farmers in the farmers field, so there the situation is different. There you cannot use Blackboard, there you cannot use PowerPoint. So looking to the situation, you have to teach the farmers. Though the details of the procedure may vary from situation to situation, there are some steps which are basic to the extension teaching. So let us see what are those steps. So these are the steps in extension teaching process. According to these steps are given by Wilson and Gallup. According to Wilson and Gallup, there are 6 steps in extension teaching method. So you can use the abbreviation. AID cash, attention, interest, desire, conviction, action, and satisfaction. These are the 6 steps in extension teaching method. So first one is attention. So you can make the abbreviations of these steps. AID, 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 first aid and care. So AID, AID, AID CAS, AID CAS, CAS, AID CAS, AID CAS. So thereby you can remember attention, interest, desire, conviction, action, and satisfaction. First, in case of extension teaching, first you should draw the attention of the farmers. Draw the attention of the farmers. First, you should draw the attention of the learners or farmers towards the subject. By drawing the attention, you can make them to know about the subject. Then after drawing the attention and making them know about the subject, then you can create interest among the audience to know about the subject matter. Create interest. For example, if you give a information, if you give here is a new variety on soybean. Thereby, by giving the information on new variety, here is one new variety developed by US Dharwad on soybean, which gives more yield. So thereby you can, telling the name of the variety, you can draw the attention. So in order to, after drawing the attention, you can create interest to know about the variety. Hmm? So it is giving more yield than the existing variety, and it is resistant to disease, and it is resistant to pest. So thereby you can create more interest. First you draw the attention, then you can create. The next step is desire. Hmm? Create a desire, stimulate desire to know more and more about the variety. Hmm? First one is drawing the attention. Second one is creating the interest to know more. Then creating, stimulating the desire to know more and more and more about the subject. So after creating the desire to know more and more, you, you can convince the farm, convince the farmers about the subject. After convincing the farmers about the subject, you can make them to action. Next step is action. Hmm? Asking, making the farmers to act on the subject. That is, making them to adopt the subject or information. Then after adoption, next step is satisfaction. You should, by taking follow-up action, you can create some satisfaction. You can create some satisfaction among the farmers. Satisfaction by showing how much yield is increase in the yield due to adoption of new variety compared to earlier one. How much income is increased, how much employment is generated, to what extent the disease is, the crop is resistant to disease or pest. Thereby you can derive the satisfaction among the farmers. So like this, there are six steps involved in the uh, extension teaching process. First one is attention, second one is interest, third one is desire, fourth one is conviction, action, and satisfaction. So let us see one by once again in brief. So according to Wilson and Gallup, there are six steps in extension teaching process. First one is attention, getting the attention of the learner. The first step in extension teaching is to uh, make the people aware of the new idea or practice. Aware. The second one is, once the people have come to know of the new idea, the next step is stimulate their interest. Stimulate their interest to know more and more about the subject. Then third one is desire, arousing the learner's desire for more information. Stimulating the learner's desire for more information, to know more and more information. Then conviction, convincing the, after creating the desire to more and more, convincing the, or pursuing the learners to make the decision to act, convincing the farmers to make act, make a decision to act, convincing the farmers to take the decision on act. Then next is action, that is convincing the farmers. Action is the stage of putting the idea or practice into action. Helping the farmers or assisting the farmer to put the idea into practice. Then satisfaction, sixth one. Satisfaction is the end product of the extension teaching. When I said follow action by the extension agents helps the people to learn and evaluate the ideas. Follow-up action by the, after adopting the innovation, the extension worker should visit the farmer's field and helping the farmers to evaluate the varieties or technology in comparison with the exist one. Thereby you can make them to satisfy with the subject. The saying, here is a saying, satisfied consumer is the best advertisement. If the farmer is satisfied with your technology, so automatically in turn he spread the information to the others. satisfied consumer is the best advertisement. Also, okay, this is also applied to the extension work. So this is about teaching, learning. Then next is extension teaching methods. Teaching, learning. For teaching and learning to be takes place, there must be some teaching method, teaching aids. So according to these, let us see the definitions of extension teaching methods given by the well-known scientist. According to Paul Ligon, he is a well-known scientist, well-known communication scientist. According to him, extension teaching methods are the devices. Extension teaching methods are the devices used to create the situation in which communication takes place between the source and receiver. Extension teaching methods are the devices or the aids used to create the situation in which communication takes place between the source and receivers. They are the devices used to create the situation, effective situation, in which communication takes place between source and receiver. So according to one more definition given by Douglas and Sminger, is also a well-known, extension teaching methods are to the extension worker what hammer, wrenches, screwdrivers, etc. to the mechanic. How the hammers, wrenches, screwdrivers, suttige, pana, screwdrivers are essential for the mechanic. So similarly, the extension teaching methods are essential for, or the extension teaching methods are the aids which are essential for the extension workers. For the mechanic, hammers, wrenches, screwdrivers are must. So similarly, the extension worker, extension teaching methods are must for teaching the farmers. Then classification of extension teaching methods. Extension teaching methods can be classified in two ways, according to use, then according to form. So according to use, that is according to use, it is based on the nature of use. According to form, it is based on the nature of sense involved. So according to use, individual contact methods, group contact methods, mass contact methods. According to nature of use, extension teaching methods can be classified into individual contact methods, group contact methods, mass contact methods. So according to nature of sense, that means senses involved, hearing sense, audio sense, visual sense. So based on the sense involved, written form, spoken form, extension teaching methods can be classified into written form, spoken form, that is audio form, visual form, and audiovisual form. So according to form, we can classify the extension teaching methods into four groups. According to use, we can classify the extension teaching methods into three groups. So let us see the examples. What are these classification? What are the individual contact methods? What are the group contact methods? What are the mass contact methods? And the examples for each of these classification. So this here is a classification chart, classification of extension teaching methods chart. So here, according to extension teaching methods can be classified into according to use and according to form. So according to use, as I told you, we can classify the extension teaching methods into individual contact methods, group contact method, mass contact methods. According to form, we can classify the extension teaching methods into written form, audio form, visual form, audiovisual form. So these are the examples, individual contact methods. These are the examples of individual contact methods. Examples. Individual contact methods involves form and omit, result demonstration, whole form demonstration, form trial, office calls, telephone calls, personal calls, etc. So these are the examples of group contact methods. These are the examples of mass contact method. So similarly, these are the examples of written forms, spoken forms, visual forms, and audiovisual forms. Let us see in detail. So classification of extension teaching method according to use. So according to use, I told you, you can classify the extension teaching methods into individual contact methods, group contact methods, mass contact methods. So let us see one by one. So individual contact methods. Individual contact. What are these individual contact methods? Individual contact methods are the methods used by the extension worker to communicate with individual farmers individually. Hmm? Individual contact methods are the methods used by the extension worker to communicate farmers individually, either at his field or on his farm pertaining to extension work. Whenever you are using the teaching methods for teaching the farmers individually, educating the farmers individually. So such methods are called as individual contact methods. So these are the examples of individual contact methods: farm and home visits, result demonstration, whole farm demonstration, farm trial or field trial, office call, telephone call, and personal letters. So there are seven teaching methods comes under individual contact methods. Out of seven, these four teaching methods will be individual contact methods will be covered in detail in the future classes. So what is form and visit? What is the procedure to be followed? What is result demonstration? What is the procedure to be followed? So similarly, whole form demonstration, form trial. Next is group contact method. Group contact methods are the methods used by the extension worker to communicate with people in group. Group contact methods are the methods used by the extension worker to teach the group of people. Whenever you are addressing a group of people, you can use group contact methods. For example, in the classroom situation, I am teaching the group of students. That's nothing but lecture method. Lecture method is one of the teaching aid that can be used to educate the students. So the groups can be classified into small groups, medium groups, and large groups. Small group consists of up to 15 to 25 audience. It can be called as small groups. 25 to 50 audience, it can be called as uh, medium group. Up to 50 to 100 members, it can be called as large group. So these are the examples of group contact method. Result demonstration. So result demonstration, it comes in both the cases. It also comes in individual contact methods and also group contact methods. So it is a group contact method and how it is a individual contact method, that will be covered in the future class. Then method demonstration, group meeting, group interview, field days, study tour, field visits, and small group techniques. These are the examples of group contact methods. So this orange color, this one, result demonstration, method demonstration, group meeting, study tour, and small groups techniques will be covered in detail in the future classes. Then mass contact methods. Whenever you are addressing a mass of people, so these mass contact methods are used. Mass contact methods are used by the extension worker to address mass of people. So whenever you are addressing the people located in far-flung areas, scattered in far-flung areas, so it is very difficult to use individual contact methods and group contact methods. So under such situation, you can use mass contact methods. Mass contact methods are the methods used by the extension worker to communicate with the vast and heterogeneous mass of people without taking into consideration their individual or group of identity. These methods are followed where large and widely dispersed audience is to be communicated. So these methods are used when large and widely dispersed audience are to be communicated. Whenever the larger audience located in far-flung areas, so under such situation, we go for mass contact methods. So these methods, mass contact methods, are followed or used where large and widely dispersed audience to be communicated within a short time. So these are the examples of mass contact methods: radio, newspaper, television, exhibition, campaign, Krishi Mela, circular letter, leaflet, folder, bulletin, posters, charts, models, and specimens. So first six: radio, newspaper, television, exhibition, campaign, and Krishimela will be covered in detail in the future theory classes. Then our leaflet, folders, bulletin, posters, charts, Models and placements will be covered in the practical class. So this is about classification of extension teaching methods according to use. Then classification of extension teaching methods according to form. So according to form, as I told you, there are four types: written forms, spoken forms, visual forms, and audiovisual forms. So let us see one by one these written forms. Written forms are the methods through which message can be read. Written forms are the forms through which are the methods. Written forms are the methods through which message can be read. You can read through these teaching aids. You can teaching methods. You can read the message. Leaflet. You can read the message. Folder. Here also you can read. Personal letter, circular letter, pamphlets, news articles which are published in the newspapers, then bulletins. So through these aids you can read the message. So this classification. These are the examples of written forms. Then spoken forms. These are the spoken forms are the method through which message can be heard. You can hear the message here. Through spoken audio forms, you can hear the message. Spoken forms or audio forms are the methods through which message can be heard. For example, group meeting. In the meeting, you are hearing the message. Farm and home visits, also you are giving the information orally. Office calls, here also you are giving the message. Telephone calls, radio, tape record, public address system. So these are the examples of audio form or spoken forms. So these are also commonly used in the extension work. Then visual forms. Visual forms are the forms through which message can be seen. Visual forms are the forms through which message can be seen. For example, result demonstration. Here, you can, in case of demonstration, you can see the message. Whole form demonstration or block demonstration, field trial, exhibition, posters, charts, silent movies, photographs, models, specimens, real objectives. So through these aids, you can see the message. These are the examples of visual forms. The last classification is audio visual forms. Audio visual forms are the methods through which message can be heard as well as seen. These are the forms, these are the methods, extension methods through which message can be seen as well as heard. These are the examples of audio visual aids. Method demonstration, result demonstration, television, film show, video cassettes, video conferencing, drama, puppet show, etc. These are the examples of audiovisual forms. So this is in brief about extension teaching methods. So in the next class, we shall see the extension teaching methods one by one in detail. Thank you. Thank you, and all.